So let's get practical here a little bit, and let's see how we can increase your profits 20% in the 2020. So fee increases. The beautiful thing about fee increase is it all falls to the bottom line if you keep your costs the same. But can you raise them across the board? Maybe. But for most practices, a 2 to 10% fee increase selected by procedure is a wise maneuver. Increasing case acceptance. This is one place where, again, just by increasing case acceptance, you increase your productivity. And if you increase your case acceptance only by 25%, you'll probably need training to do it. But if you only 25%, it means your overhead goes down. Let me explain something about this. When you produce more with the same cost other than your variable expense, you make more profit. Your fixed expenses are going to stay the same. Your variable expenses in a dental practice are not all that great. Variable expenses are dental supplies, lab work, and marketing. This is why marketing expenditures can be such a leverage point. Let's say all total, all of that added up to 30%. With the same fixed cost, the same team, not buying new equipment, doing all the same, that means 70% of each additional dollar's profit. So increasing case acceptance, keeping fixed costs the same, is a ginormous way to increase your profitability. Another, reduce expenses by 3 to 10%, hard choices. But look, even if you only did it by 2% in each category, so you increase your production only 2%, you increase your revenues by the similar amount, you decreased your general supply cost, administrative cost by 2%, and you decrease your staff cost by 2%, what would that equal? A lot of money. And it's not just 2 plus 2 plus 2. It adds up to a lot of money. I've seen this done in large companies, mid-sized companies, and generally it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Depends on the size of your practice, obviously. So do more dentistry on new patients and existing patients. That gets right back to case presentation. Stop watching a situation get worse. Just tell patients the truth. Train your hygienist and the rest of your team to influence patients to say yes. And if you don't know how to do it, get some help. Diagnose the whole mouth. Don't stop doing so much single tooth dentistry. I see this occur over and over again. Tell patients the facts, but diagnose completely. That means you probably need to spend more time on new patient exams. Treat the perio that's undertreated. That's still a problem. Develop and use your marketing assets. Your marketing assets can be a silent salesperson for you. It can be white papers, your book, your emails, your one-page information sheets, your letter system, your videos, a blog, a podcast. Remember I talked about communication? You have to do a lot more communication these days than you've done before because there's so much communication out there. Patients actually do want to hear it. Coming up in 2020, we're going to provide a course with with Mike Stewart on creating a podcast for your dental practice. Let us know if you're interested in that. So one of the things about adding more new patients is this dental jingles marketing system at dentaljingles.com. Yes, that's a pitch. I'm not trying to say, but I do want you to go take a look at it because it's awesome stuff. Website excellence. Your website is kind of barometer. That's when patients go and go, okay, they have a nice website. Does it speak in the language that I want to speak in? This is the problem with 99% of websites I see. They speak in the language of the doctor without recognition of the patient. You should be speaking the language of the patient. What should you have in that website? Real quick, before and after, a ton of reviews, ton of pictures, and conversations that lead to information that lead to conversations with people I want to know more. You should also have dental chat on your website these days. It gives you a leg up. As I said, reviews by the ton. And for most doctors, they need to get an automated system to do that. If you're a general practitioner, you should direct mail to farm your geographic area. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is that generally speaking, you are going to get most of your patients, about 80%, and within a 5-mile radius of your practice location. So doesn't it make sense to concentrate your marketing efforts on the people most likely to pick you? Yes. This is the reason the dental jingle system works. It's also the reason direct mail works. But this is something when I say farm, it means tending. You need to continue to pay attention to it, because if it doesn't pay attention to, they won't know who you are, and they have to be aware of who you are when they choose. Also, stimulate your referrals by increasing your communication, more personal contact, have a practice newsletter, and certainly becoming and being an authority marketer. ACE stands for authority, celebrity, expert status. Interestingly enough, becoming slightly famous right where you live is not that hard. Becoming a celebrity is not that hard. But when you're positioned as an expert in your geographic area, patients are more likely to choose you. So, how do you retain your existing patients? More communication. More communication. Understand you're going to spend anywhere from $10 to $50 a year keeping a patient. But how much does that bring you? Well, we know a new patient the first 3 years is going to bring you $4,000 or $5,000 in revenues. So think about that when you take your foot off the pedal as far as communicating to them. Add a new service to deliver. I say this with understanding is that if you like it, you enjoy doing it, then do these things. If you don't like it, don't. Hire it out. Hire specialty doctors to come into your practice to keep patients in-house and their fees in-house. See, one of the things I learned is that as much as 40 to 45% of total revenues are farmed out of a lot of general practices to endodontist, the oral surgeon, a periodontist, the orthodontist, goes on and on. Keep those in-house by hiring specialty doctors to come and work in your practice. You probably won't find them in your town. You have to drive in to do it, but it can pay nice profits for you, particularly if it's times when you're not normally there. If I could just have people do this, it would be lovely. You can add $20,000 a month on average production by having well-done team meetings where you engage your team members, talk about your problems and issues, get their feedback because they know a lot. And it gets team buy-in and energy. They're engaged. They're with you. So understand that this is a key element to have a team meeting weekly. Now, maybe it's not every week, but 3 out of 4 weeks. You want one. You train. You teach. You explain issues. You go over your goals. All of those things. They're going to get behind it, particularly when they're aligned with your values. Understand that team training has a 33-to-1 ratio of return. That's a lot. It's why the training business is so big. That number, by the way, came from the Society of Training and Development, so I didn't make it up. Team marketing. Now, I want you to understand what team marketing is here. Remember I told you about how difficult it is to get new team members? It's because now the team member you probably want's already working somewhere else. So you have to make your practice attractive to potential team members. That culture guide and your culture standing for something is all part of that. Just tracking something will generally help you improve it. If you're trying to lose weight, what do? You weigh every day. I have a personal success story. Sip of water. I have lost 45 pounds in the past 6 months. And I did it by checking my weight, watching what I was eating, nothing crazy. Keto diet, by the way, worked well for me. But if you track your productivity per hour and your overhead per hour, you understand what it costs you to deliver. And that can be a big difference. Unless you have a high productivity per hour, it's going to limit what you're able to do. Doctor, protect your time. Think who, not what, but give out projects to team members. Give them enough time to do it, but delegate more. Define what you want to have happen, the result. Define the result. Let them do it. And on this list here is, buy a practice. But don't buy a practice if you're mucking up running your own practice right now. Now, if it's only because you have a lack of patience, maybe buying a practice is a good idea, particularly if you can buy it at a good price. That's something I can help with if you have an interest.